Petite to Queen's Claim Your Career Crown podcast. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck, and today I'm joined by our special guest who's coming back with something totally new, Ryan Harbison. And I am so glad to have Ryan here today because we're going to be talking about gaming as a social experience, the supreme power of playing together.
Hmm.
Gaming transcends screens to build friendships, boost teamwork, and unlock powerful social connections. It's why playing together makes a real impact. Now, if you get a ton of value from this episode, I'd love to invite you to subscribe wherever you get your podcast because it costs nothing to subscribe. Now, with a passion of console gaming and a love of sharing the experience, What Are We Playing celebrates everything from retro classics to modern hits. Ryan's channel focuses on couch co op gaming. Two people, two controllers, one screen, and endless fun. He has 20 consoles spanning 4 decades, and that's a long time, with authentic gameplay. No PC emulation here, just original cartridges and discs. So, very cool. Ryan, I am so excited to have you here today and talk about this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. You nailed that intro. Great job. Thanks so much. Glad to be back. Glad to be back. A lot different than the last time we chatted, which was more about LinkedIn. So it's a little different now.
Yeah. Well, times are changing. So, that really, I would went in some of your background, but for those of you who may remember your previous episode or from a past life, what inspired you to really get onto this and to the what's
Yeah,
playing?
great question. I've always kind of been in the video game industry for a really long time. I started my career, doing games. I actually, when I was younger, I was in the retail space, selling video games like Funko Land and GameStop and all that great stuff. Then I moved into the development space. So I was actually a developer for many years. I have two published games on Nintendo DS. We were a certified Nintendo developer. We're one of the first apps to launch on the iPad store when the iPhone and the iPad were different stores a long time ago. And then I worked for a lot of publishers as well. So I was working in the video game industry as a publisher. So basically, I was a product director, overseeing the production of titles, basically from when we signed a developer to when Nintendo was printing them in Japan. I was involved in that process, either in licensing, the different phases of the games themselves, direct sales to major retailers across the United States and in Europe. So I've kind of been in the game space for a very long time. Took a little bit of a break and was in the corporate sales world for a long time, mostly in the digital marketing, branding, and creative space. I mean, I've been a graphic designer and a video guy since I was in college, so I've always been in that marketing field. And then after kind of a couple of stints with a couple of companies and things just didn't work out and layoffs and all that, I've always wanted to play games online, and I was kind of doing it a little bit on the side. And after like layoff two in like a 18-month period, I just took the leap. And here we go. And now I've been going, full in since August, and it's I'm having a blast. I get to do video work and host and do like technical engineering all day and fix problems and make stuff and host things and play games and interact with the community online. It's a blast.
All right. That's wonderful. And what a journey to get to where you are today. So, let's sort of dive into the topic because, you know, I think that some people could be wondering about this, but what
Yeah.
is the importance of playing video games with others?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it comes down to like the main thing, which is like the first thing we learn to do when we're younger is play. Play is like the beginning of life, honestly. And playing games is really a way to escape. It's a way to bring people together. And it really allows you, my generation, I'm 42, so I'm in the millennial generation. My generation loves nostalgia. We just do. It's just like part of the millennials. So when I go to shows and we promote the channel because we do like a lot of nerd cons and I have a booth and we're on tour right now. Really building the channel itself. My core demographic is all about the older stuff. But then I've got younger people that play that have never heard of an Xbox 360. because they're just younger people. So what's great is that I have an opportunity to do a couple things. It's really like it's educate people on games, it's bring people together on the industry. I mean, I know a lot, and I'm very developer focused in the industry. I understand like who makes the games and who's involved, and I know what takes to make them because I did it for many years. So like we kind of bring a different perspective on the channel because we talk about the developers, and we lost a lot of developers in like the great, the great. I don't even know how to and kind of put the analogy, but everybody got bought up in like 2004 to 2012, and we lost a lot of good independent developers that got sucked up by the big publishers. So like we love to highlight some of those guys and those gals that were in those great studios, like Pandemic, and I mean you got Respawn and all these other guys that have just been either products of being bought and started new stuff, or people that left and now these great titles are in the ether, and
Yeah.
some stuff is not available to play, and that's a big thing that we really focus, is why we focus mainly on console gaming and physical discs and cartridges, because the historical video game museum in LA did like a 24-month study and found out that only 13% of titles that were made from the beginning of when the industry started in 1965 with Tennis for Two, which was developed by MIT. From that date, the beginning of the industry, only 13% of those titles have been digitized. So that means over 87% of the consoles gaming that have been made are only available if you have the disc or the cartridge. And there's a lot of stuff that's involved there, right? Because we go back to games in like 86, 7, 91, 2, 3, like a couple of factors. Those licenses aren't around anymore. Those developers aren't around anymore. The publishers are out of business. So who owns that game? That's a big
Yeah.
problem.
Well, that certainly is a good question. So when you're bringing people together, how do you do that? Do you have a process for bringing people together to
Yeah.
play? What
I
happens?
mean, I have a list of friends. Honestly, that's kind of where we're at right now. I mean, I'm hoping down the road at someday maybe we have like a Joe Rogan kind of thing that happens, and we've got people coming to promote their movies and stuff, which would be great. But the core of the channel is people come to the house, they sit on the couch, and we play games. So that's really what it is. I would say right now I probably have about 15 or 20 people that are in the rotation that are just coming in and out. And we used to do kind of half and half with live video and pre-recorded stuff. And I was going live a couple days a week, and then I was then releasing pre-recorded. But we've kind of just deleted all the pre-recorded. So now it's like we have a schedule. So I'm live Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern every week. And on Mondays, I usually play like bigger games, like games that take about 100 hours to beat. So The Witcher and Fallout and Skyrim and Oblivion and Borderlands. And then Wednesday and Friday, I play more casual stuff that's like the 20 to 30-hour games that are more like adventure games. And then we have a seasonal show that's on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock called Eradicate, which is a wrestling league that we created. We have superheroes and villains. We made all the stables. We made all the good guys, the bad guys. We tell the stories, made all the belts, made the arenas, and then we call the matches live, and we book the show and let the computer just fight. That's a great one. So then other days, people will be off. Like on Wednesdays, a doubleheader, right? So Wednesday, I'm playing Beyond Good and Evil at noon till about 4 o'clock. And then around 4:30, 5 o'clock, my one friend Ryan's coming over, and we're playing till about 9:30. So what's cool about the channel now is that when people are off from work, we just go live. So you're always going to get Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but maybe a Saturday is wide open, and maybe I get like 3 people to come over, and we just kind of swap people out, and or this Sunday, or you get a Monday night, or you get a Thursday day, or whatever it is. So we're having a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. Now, and of course, I can see how that could also be transitioned or transformed into like events where you guys could be playing and having that be right that live there, but still streaming, etc.
Yeah, I mean, we are not mobile yet. There's a lot of moving parts in here because, like you said in the intro, I literally have 20 systems hooked up to one setup. I have an 8 in, 8 out HDMI matrix that has converter boxes and everything, and then the Elgato comes into the computer and then goes through this and then goes, and then we're live on 4 platforms at the same time. So And I got to upgrade my computer by October because of Windows 11. So that there's all that too. So
Oh
I'm
my
not looking
God.
forward. I'm not looking forward to that part.
Oh
We'll
yeah,
get
that
there though. We'll get there.
that is always such a big thing. So, I have to ask you, so, when we're talking about the video games, why, what's the big why? Is socializing through video games a challenge for many people? And yet at the same time, it has this huge benefit of a flip side.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a couple things, right? From what we see, it's the reason that people watch people play games, and I know this is like a really hard thing for people to kind of get that are not in the gaming space, but it's the same as why do you watch football? Because you're not that good at it. And these guys are way better, right? So it's one of those things. So, like, why are we watching football and watching baseball, but not watching somebody that's really good at Call of Duty? Or maybe you don't have time to play Red Dead Redemption 2, but you know that I'm playing Red Dead Redemption 2, and you work all day, and you come home, and the kids, and everything. But you know, at like 8:30, 9 o'clock, you're going to go to bed around 11. And you know that I played the today, so you're gonna watch half of today's episode because I usually go live for 4 to 5 hours. So like you're like, all right, I'm gonna catch this one because I want to watch him play this game that I just don't have time to play. I'm not that good at it. Or the other thing is, you want to see how other people are playing so that when you go back and play, you're like, I never thought of playing that way, or I like this guy. But really, what it kind of turns into is that we're the streaming community is we're hosts. We're personalities. So a lot of people watch people more for the entertainment of myself than the games that I'm playing. The games are just another add-on. Like, we did wrestling a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and the chat was out of control. And they weren't even talking about the match. They were talking about food. Because somebody said something, oh, I squashed them like a pickle or something. And people were like, oh, the only thing to have a pickle on is a cheeseburger. And then I was like, man, I love cheeseburgers. And then that was it. That was done. And I mean, for like 40 minutes, they're like, and I'm reading all their stuff live. Like, they're like, I love mine with blue cheese and this one. You got to have medium rare. I was like, ew, well done's the only way to go. And I mean, they weren't even talking about the show. They're talking to each other. So, like, that's the other part, too, is like you build these communities. So you look forward to when someone goes live. Like, my biggest fan right now, I don't have a lot of people watching me because I'm new, but like my biggest fan is in the Philippines. It's this random guy in the Philippines found me randomly. It's literally a 12-hour time difference. So when I go live, it's like 12:30 in the morning over there, and he stays on until like 3 in the morning. He's like, I'll be back. I'm gonna snack. Come back. He's like, still on? Did you beat that guy finally? And then like he'll be in, and then other people will be in the chat, and then they start talking to each other. Like my chat will talk to each other and have
Yeah.
conversations, and I'm not involved in.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, that's so fun. Well, but it is. I mean, and I can see how watching someone play and do those things can really help you. I'm not a console game player, but I play my Pokemon Go on my iPhone.
Hey, you're a
And
gamer, girl. That's just the way it works. I mean, people don't realize that, like, like the arcade left, but it did not. It just went to here.
yeah,
This is the arcade right here. Like, you can play. Like, I know a guy that's like level 8,000 in Candy Crush. He's like, I'm not a gamer. I'm like, bullshit. I'm like, you're level 8,000. I'm like, you're a gamer, man.
yeah. No, and it is. I mean, we used to, have the community days. I mean, Pokemon still has those community
Oh,
days,
yeah.
and then
It's
they have
crazy.
global events and things. We went to one of the global event that was in the Seattle several years ago. It was like so fun,
Yeah, it's crazy.
and you make friends with people, but you'd see
Well,
people that we see around who
have you
play, and we're
seen
talking to them,
have you seen the
trading
integration of Pokemon?
Pokemon, and yeah, I mean, there's this whole conversation, this whole world that's outside if
People play
people don't
games?
play Pokemon.
Well, here's the other thing too. Have you seen the integration of Google integrating Pokemon into Google searches and stuff now? Oh, so you can hunt Pokemon on Google now, like through the
Oh,
search bars and stuff like that. Oh yeah, look into
oh,
that. Oh yeah, that's
huh.
dangerous.
Well, I
It's
mean,
dangerous.
certainly will certainly look and say, well, what's the best attacker against Seadra or something, right? So we're getting off on a tangent, but I totally understand that social connection and this whole different language and world. And some of the games that you've named, I mean, I recognize. So it's just a different type of entertainment, but it's very interactive, and there's the biggest component is the fact that you can connect with these other people who are also enjoying it and having these conversations.
Well, I think part of it too is understanding now. We're at a point now, right? So, like, gaming as a whole in like the late 70s into the early 80s was kind of a fad. Atari, ColecoVision, Commodore 64, Intellivision, all that stuff. But when Nintendo released in the US, that's kind of when games started to become like a thing, right? So you have to think about this. So from like 1985, which would put like people born in 65 at 20 years old, and then people that were born in 1985 now at almost 40, right? So you've got this gap, but you have to realize that those IPs are generational now and they bring people together. Like my dad, my brother, and my nephew all saw Super Mario Brothers in the theaters and like appreciated it on three different levels. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I totally understand how that comes together. And so I think that for those who might be listening thinking this is a crazy conversation, I would challenge them as to why is playing video games together maybe a blind spot that they're not making the connection. What do you think?
Yeah, so I think what it is playing games is a way to, like you said, it's to bring people together, but it's also a way to make things fun. And I feel like this is a term that's been thrown around, but especially in the corporate markets, is gamification. Gamification is a thing, and you can even use gamification in your life. And that's a big part of it too. I think part of the blind spot is when you make like things a chore and a task, they're boring. But if you make them some sort of a game, then people want to do that because they have to get so many points to get to a level, and then they get a $25 gift card to Starbucks. Okay, let's go. Now we want to play the game now all of a sudden too. But I think why it's a blind spot, and if I can just be totally frank, I think it's a generational thing. I think it's a generation thing. I think it really is. I think everybody who's under 45 years old plays games or plays a certain amount of them. And I mean, there's people that play games obviously over that age, but
Yeah, I am.
the 40 the around the 45 years old and under, people are like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "Ah, I play this, I play that, I play that." Like, there's no like it's kind of weird if you don't play games at that point.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. And as the millennial generation continues to take over, I think you're going to see more of that gamification come into the workplace. I think you're going to see more opportunities for games to be part of the culture, right? And I think that games are going to continue to be mainstream. I mean, right now, video games are what comic books were in 2008,
Yeah.
right? Super Mario Brothers, Twisted Metal, The Last of Us, Minecraft. I mean, these are all major video game IPs that are making billions of dollars in the TV and film space. And you're seeing that come together. And there's more on the horizon. Like, they're seeing that video games are established IPs that already have story and everything done. You just have to make sure it's done right so that the base appreciates it. Right now, there was exceptions to the rule, like the Resident Evil movies came out a long time ago. They're not really Resident Evil. They're just action movies with zombies and things like that. And there's been stuff that's failed. I mean, the Borderlands movie came out and just tanked, and it happens. But I think what we're seeing is that The Last of Us is showing that most of these games should be shows and not movies because there's just too much. There's too much story. There's too much character development. There's too much things like like where's Metal Gear? That's what I want to know. Like Metal Gear's coming, man. Like there's no way it's not espionage in the 70s and cloning and super soldiers and Russia's versus US. And I mean, they tried with Halo and it did okay, but what did they do wrong? Like you got to understand, like you can't have, it's the same thing that we see with like Star Wars and all these major IPs. Like you need to have people that know the IPs writing the stories.
Right. Yeah.
You
Oh,
can't
yeah.
have someone that's never played Halo and be like, take his mask off. And it's like, why? So I think
No.
what you're going to see is that it's a blind spot for now, but I think as things continue to progress, it's going to just be more of the mainstream. Like that Wii fad that we had back when everyone was playing Wii
Yeah.
Sports. It's coming back, man. It is. It's coming back.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking of a couple Big Bang-ish episodes just as we're talking about these
Yeah.
things. Still remember Sheldon trying to decide between an Xbox and a PS4. I think that's what his decision was. And he
Hard
was
decisions.
sitting there, on the floor of whatever it was, the Best Buy, trying to decide
Oh
between
my
the
God.
two.
And he's
And
probably
it
got
was
all
it was
algorithm written too, right?
and he only had one port, so he couldn't get both because Amy just said, "I'll buy you both. I just want to leave."
Can we just go? Love it.
Anyway, it was so funny.
Well, it's funny that you say that because the console world is done. Is done. This is it. PS5 and the Xbox, new Xbox, that's a wrap. Because what we're gonna see is that Microsoft has been doing Game Pass for many years right now, right? So Game Pass is their on-demand gaming service, and there's no money in consoles. Why would I do that when I can just sell you a Roku box this big that's got you know a 2 terabytes of a hard drive in there with a little like X, Y, and Z motherboard with a big enough processor for GPU and CPU. And then I don't even really need that much stuff because all the power is coming from the cloud. All I need is button input and visual screen. That's it. Yeah, I don't even need that much. The guts inside the machine don't need to be that crazy. It's got to be able to communicate with it. So this is it for consoles. We're done. No more physical consoles. You're going to have Netflix gaming for everything from here on out. That's a wrap, kids. So, just another reason why we collect everything disc and cartridges because I have a library here, and that's really what it comes down to. Because I have stuff that I'll probably never play, but I'd rather have it than never see it again.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, there's a lot of similarities in other industries like the movies, when
Same deal.
they, and they are try to preserve old movies and how many movies have just simply been lost.
Gone. I mean, these
Yeah.
Netflix shows. I mean, like the first one that pops in my brain is kind of like an odd Netflix show called The OA that came out in like the beginning of probably like year 2 or 3 of Netflix making like original content. That's lost.
Mm.
Hey, you're not like Lilyhammer, which was like the first show that they did. Like, is that on DVD? Who even knows? Like, that's the stuff that's just going to be gone and
Yeah.
forever out. But then you also got Paramount who's making stuff. AMC makes stuff. MGM has a thing. I mean, go down the list of all the streaming platforms that probably make good shows but don't do anything. Like Roku has a whole thing. They made like a Weird Al movie. Like, is that on DVD? I don't know.
No, no, I mean most of them, yeah, they just you have to get them through the streaming service and there is no other way to acquire it.
I mean,
And to your point, that does happen. I was recently looking for it was totally different, a book. And it was a book that an author that I like, she wrote a crossover book between two of her series. And the two characters come together. It was sort of a
oh,
novella. It's just a
fun.
short story. And
Love that.
the first of all, you can't buy the book anymore except for like through the used bookstore market.
Okay.
But I wanted to get an Audible or version of it, an audiobook. Doesn't exist,
Huh.
and it was like, okay, well, I can get a used book if I can find one somewhere. And
Um,
then and then it ended up that there was a Kindle version, which I had the Kindle version, and I was like going, okay, but it was the same thing. It's like, okay, well, nothing was ever done with that. Anything more was done with that. So it's just sort of like,
I mean, I have a personal experience that I'm dealing with right now. And, at some point I would love to be able to do this. But like our second game that came out for the DS is called Orion's Odyssey, a Pattern Blocks Adventure. It's a great game about this robot that makes things out of pattern blocks and then like helps the people in the world come to life, and he solves people's problems while making pattern block puzzles on the bottom screen, and then it comes to life, and then it continues the story on the top screen. That's on Nintendo DS. So that came out in between DS and 3DS.
right.
We couldn't find a publisher for it, so it was released on the Nintendo eShop, which is no longer available. So it's gone. So you can't play our game ever again unless you have it. If you have it, download it on your DS or your 3DS, you can play it. But if you don't, that's a wrap.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that is. That's sort of it's
And
sad
it's like,
too.
how do I get those games printed? Like Nintendo doesn't print that, and if I want to do it through Nintendo, I got to do 10,000 units.
Yeah,
It
crazy.
sucks, and it's a great game. And I'm not just saying that because it's ours. We put a
Yeah,
lot of time in that thing, man. Like 3.5 years we made that game. It was a
yeah.
lot.
No, no, I I know that you mentioned Minecraft. Like my daughter still plays Minecraft. I mean, she has a computer
I
all set
mean,
up just to be able to do that. And and
that's an
she
awesome story too.
yeah, and she had this one game that was this game that that same thing, it got bought out, but it was like these it never came out with like they came out the first few versions, but she played it on the PS whatever, not the 4, but before that, and it was like this little fox creature that would chase these dragons and stuff and adventure. And
Hmm.
she and my husband got really, really good at that game. I mean, they did the whole they were constantly playing that game and all the things that it would do. I I can't remember the name of it. Terrible. Too bad she's not on here.
Yeah, I mean, but then the other thing that you have too is like like the live service games, right? So a live service game is basically that. Like the game is only live if people are playing it,
Yeah.
right? And then there's other games that only allow you to play the game if you're connected to the internet. So like your level and your everything is stored on the cloud, and when those servers are down, that's a wrap. So
Yeah.
like we play the Friday the 13th game on the channel, right? And you get to play as Jason Voorhees, and you go around, you hunt camp counselors, you kill the counselors. It's funny, it's hilarious. But like I have the Ultimate Edition, all this and the other, and they ran into licensing issues, so they had to shut the game down like beginning of January, and I can't connect to the servers, and because I can't connect to the servers, I'm at level 0
Oh,
on everything, and I had everything unlocked, and there's no way to do it because it's based on the game servers, which are not available anymore.
wow.
It's wild.
Oh my goodness. So,
Sorry, I know it's a little bit of a tangent, but it's
no,
like
I know.
the
No, but
the,
that's the whole point. We're having this
the
whole
industry as a
conversation.
whole is becoming more and more digital, and it's a terrible thing. And just wait for Grand Theft Auto to come out, because Grand Theft Auto is going. Here's the issue: we're not making games anymore. We make software
Hmm.
that you can play, right? So that's what Grand Theft Auto is going to be. Grand Theft Auto is going not to be a game. It's going to be software. You're going to be able. Obviously, I don't work for Take Two. I don't know anyone at Rockstar. I have no insider information. But as a developer, this is what I would do, and I already kind of know that this is what's probably going to happen. You're going to be able to access all of your own accounts through your phone in the game. Why would I license the music when I can just make Spotify a partner in GTA? So now I just log into my Spotify, and when I'm driving around in the car, I'm just listening to my Spotify. I want to listen to Joe Rogan, boop, 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 Joe Rogan's live. I want to listen to anything. I want to watch YouTube while I'm walking around in the game on my phone. I can watch YouTube because YouTube's a partner, and they're just going to let me log into my account. That's where we're going. Like, I'm going to be able to take games. Again, this is just what I think. Should be able to take pictures on my phone in Grand Theft Auto, take a picture, and then post that through Instagram app on my phone in the game to my actual Instagram account.
That's
Watch.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
coming.
So, what should listeners do next about gaming as a social experience?
I would say this. It's all about finding what you like to do, right? If there's a genre out there, there's probably people that have done it many times over. There's also, I'm a big indie guy because I was an indie developer. I'm all about supporting the indie community. There's a lot of stuff that's on there. I love, like, again, this is what Chat GTP is great for, is this kind of stuff. And any of the AI stuff like Gronk and all that is like, find like a couple of games that you really like, right? And then use AI to say, give me a list of like 15 games that are similar to this, and then go like a step further that's like, pretend I'm new to the industry and I've never played games before in my life, but I'm looking for, a game that is high rated, that has low user base. What would you choose? And you can really open that up. Also, the other thing too is, this is a great thing to not sleep on, like Facebook groups. Like, there's like a 3-match puzzle game Facebook group out there, I'm sure, and you can be like, hi everybody, I love Candy Crush and Bejeweled. what am I missing out on? And they're like, oh my God, let me tell you all the games that, you're missing out on. Like the community's out there, right? The other thing is too, is that that's why it's great to watch streamers. There's people that play everything. So like sometimes it's fun. It's kind of like a buy it before you try it kind of deal. So you can go watch people play stuff any day of the week. So like do your cross platforms, like use either websites or AI to find out the games that you like, and then just go watch people play them on YouTube and be like, actually, this looks really fun. I want to play this. It's a great way to do it.
Yeah. All right. So, Ryan, is there anything you wish I'd asked you today?
Ooh, good one. Um, yeah. What are we playing next? What's coming up? So I tend to have my YouTube is kind of the main hub for us. I can schedule everything out on YouTube. So we're scheduled out until right now till Friday the 13th in June, which we'll be playing the Jason game. And I already have everything lined up to be pushed out until probably September. So I like to have everybody see everything that's like scheduled. And then, like I said, you get a bunch of random stuff that comes up and you know when people are off from work or want to come over and hang out and play. So this week we're playing Beyond Good and Evil on Wednesday. We have wrestling, 2 more episodes for this season. On wrestling Thursday night, 8 o'clock, Eradicate. That's the name of our show. It's great, I'm telling you. Zeus and Wolverine are fighting for the world title. It's going to be a blast. And then Friday, we got a special Friday edition. Harry's coming over, and we're playing Toe Jam and Earl on Sega Genesis. And then next Monday, we're jumping back into The Witcher Part 3. Wednesday, we're going to jump back into Wednesday and Friday is Beyond Good and Evil. And then next Saturday, Andrew's coming back over, and we're doing some Burnout Revenge on Xbox 360. So all
Cool.
kinds of cool stuff lined up.
Yeah, but on the Friday the 13th, don't you have to have those servers back up so you get your.
Well, I can play offline.
Okay.
And I have some stuff that I can do. We play it on hard, and sometimes the computer gets away, but
Okay.
we usually get them. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
Well, Ryan, thank you so much for sharing gaming as a social experience, the supreme power of playing together. I know that our listeners, I mean, you've just given some great information, but they're going to want to know about where they can find you, watch
Oh, yeah.
you, get involved with the chat, and tell you about what their favorite hamburger topping is.
I love it. I will say this. Remember, it's not just all about video games. We love board games over here, too. We play a ton of board games. So maybe you don't have the eye coordination for 2 controller sticks and 8 buttons and triggers and top buttons. The board game world has exploded over the last 15, 20 years with Ticket to Ride and Pandemic and Carcassonne and a ton of great games. So that might be something to look into as well. Because all we love to do is play games here. What are we playing? I'll tell you what.
Yeah. So, what are we playing on YouTube? Thank you, Ryan. And to everyone who tuned in, we're so glad that you joined us. This has been a lot of fun as we were talking. I learned a lot about the gaming world that I didn't know, which has been great. And Ryan, thank you again. I really appreciate your coming on and talking about this today with our audience.
Anytime, you are the best. I would love to come back and we can just talk about games all the time. It's what I love. It's what I do, baby.
All right, there we go.